Two terms I want to introduce you. That is producer and a consumer. What do you understand by these two terms? Again, you don't have to go, let's say, in technical terms of these things, how what they can mean in SAP CI. First, let's start with what do you think literally these terms mean? A producer and a consumer. As we said, it will send data to another integration or common integration flow para another integration flow is like just the consumer is using the precisely correct. Yes, that's what producer and consumer means. So if you look at the literal meaning, producer is someone that creates something for consumption for, let's say, if you're talking about your day-to-day life, a farmer is said to be a producer. Why? Because it creates the grains and everything so that someone can use it, someone can eat it, right? They are called as producers. And consumer is someone who's buying it or who's purchasing it to get it, to eat it. They are consuming that product, right? So in terms of, let's say, SAP CI, there can be a producer iFlow and there can be a consumer iFlow. Now, I can call them as sender and receiver, but they create a bit of the confusion. That's why I'm introducing these terms to you, and these terms will be used not just in terms of today session, but in future sessions as well, that what is a producer and what is a consumer. So producer is an integration that sends the data to some other integration flow. Now the mechanism can change, the mechanism can vary, how you are sending the data to a different integration flow. It can be a direct connection, it can be through, let's say, an HTTP request, they can send the data to an HTTP, someone else can consume it from HTTPS. It can be the case, or it can be through event brokers, Solis, a lot of things which we'll discuss later. But a producer is, let's say, an integration that sends the data to others. And a consumer is an integration that receives the data from, let's not talk about from, because again, then it will create certain possibilities. So a producer is someone that is sending the data, and a consumer is someone that is receiving the data. And these two terms are complementary. So a consumer has to be there if someone is producing, and a producer has to be there if someone is consuming. And that's where the concept of your external modularization comes, where you create a part of your integration in multiple iFlows, right? So what we were doing in internal modularization was we were using the same integration flow, and we were breaking it in parts using, let's say, the local integration process, and we were calling those local integration process blocks from the integration flow itself. Now, how this external modularization will vary is, instead of creating a blocks in the same integration, you will create a separate integration flow itself and call it from your main iFlow. Now, can you just assume or imagine how this can help? What can be the benefit of uh, achieving this? If you can imagine that, let's say, I'm doing a error handling in a separate integration flow. I'm doing, let's say, my API call in a separate integration flow. Can you assume the benefits? Reusability. Exactly. The first one is reusability and readability across tenant.